going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. I'm feeling better. I feel like my cold's going away. Um, Basically, the video that I wanted to make today, though, this is going to be really short, is a lot of people I've noticed are talking about physical contact, first contact, and we want to know what they can do. And I know I've talked about this before, but even though I talked about it in a previous video, I thought, hey, I might as well make a single video on it, because I know that's just how I know how people work. So I know that people will see it. Like they'll hear the information easier if I make a separate video. And I mean, let's be honest. If there's a headline that says like physical contact or contact with alien or whatever, people are gonna click on it faster. And I'd rather do that than be like, oh, hey, go back to my, I forgot what video I talked about it in. I talked about it in a couple videos, but I don't want to have someone, tell them, oh, go back and, watch this hour video, because in there I spoke on this. So, I completely understand that. So, that's part of the reason why I want to make this. But, I just woke up, an hour or two ago, drinking my coffee still. And, I was on YouTube just waking up, and I'm seeing stuff about physical contact, first contact. It's coming. But the thing is, a lot of people, I think they have a different perception on it than how it's really gonna go down. So that's why I'm making this video, basically. So a lot of people, are like, oh, I can't wait for the aliens to come and the beings to come and first contact and all this kind of stuff. Which is absolutely, it's true. It's amazing. I cannot wait for the day. I mean, ever since that contact I had that one night, 4 or 5 months ago, every single night, last night, every single night I always ask that they come. The thing is, I'll see them in my third eye all the time. So, they're there, but I'm talking, physically, when I shook hands, I'm talking, physically. But I think people just don't understand how it works. But I mean, you can't blame people at all, that's part of the reason why I'm here. It's I'm not here to say, oh, you got to learn this way. It's you're not taught this stuff in our society. You're not taught the real way things go. So of course people aren't going to know. But if you really want that physical contact, then obviously, it's almost like you want to meet with them in the middle. I know I've used this before. I forgot who originally said it. I think it was Barbara, Marciniak, the one who channels the Pleiadians. And basically someone asked, and it's a really good way to describe this, someone asked, why don't they come here to the 3D from, the higher dimensions? And they literally, it's really hard for them. Yes, some beings can, some can't. But it's hard for them. If, for example, I had contact with a Pleiadian yesterday, Contessa, the one that I channeled a couple days ago or a week ago. I saw her last night. I'll wake up and I'll have an Arcturian standing next to me, the what's it called? The amphibian one, basically, that type of Arcturian. I'll see them right there in my third eye, but not physically. So they're always around, but the reason they can't is because if they go from that higher dimension and they come down to here, it's kind of and this is what Barbara used, it's like if your hand is caught in jello. It's there's so much resistance, they can't really be themselves. They can't really move and communicate, what I'm saying? They can't do what their essence at the time is made of, because it's just it's a lower density. It's not suitable for them, basically. I mean, this is a really bad way to put it, but it's almost like someone who lives in certain weather conditions goes somewhere across the world where it's complete opposite. It's it's going to be really hard for them to adapt, basically. And that's a really easy and simple way to look at it. But if you want to know what you can do to get this contact, because it is possible, and this is also what I wanted to say, people are ready for this first contact, and it will come, but it's gonna come more individually first, And what I'm getting, like I've said before, I'm getting a strong Arcturian. I know that's who I met with. I think it's Arcturians and the Yael. I think they're going to be the two that are going to make the contact. Those two specific groups of beings have been around and very close to humanity and helping us longer than, I mean, not longer than a lot of other ones, but they've been extremely involved, and they have a big part in just our impact, basically. So I really see them coming. Yeah, the Pleiadians, obviously, they have their really strong connection with us, but I just see more reports and see more things of Arcturians and Yael, and energy-wise, I feel that just for some reason people connect to that. I think there's a strong group of people who, you know, have the Yael or Arcturian connections. So that's another reason why they can come here easier, you know. Almost like they have more of a say, I guess, more of an impact. But anyways, it's not gonna just come randomly. They're gonna come down into a town of people. You know, they're gonna come in your room at night, or if you're like somewhere in a forest area, or you're somewhere where it's very secluded. You know, they're gonna show up. You're gonna see the UFO. They're gonna let you know they're there, or you know, maybe meditation one day they just come. Oh, and it's 11/11. That's awesome. That's a good sign that I'm doing this. It's an angel sign. So, thank you, whoever's watching. But basically, it's going to be like that. And if you want to know what you can do, it's a very long process, because even though like 4 or 5 months ago they came and I shook hands and all that kind of stuff, I literally for, I don't know, almost a year straight every single night asked for them to come. So it's not going to just happen like that. You know, things take time. That's why you need some patience. And like I always say, patience in spiritual work is the worst, because it's really hard, because you really want these things right then. And when you think about being a creator being, manifesting your reality, it's kind of like, I want it right now, you know? But it doesn't work like that. So it really takes a lot of time and patience. But what I did, and that's all I can really help you guys with, is, you know, what I did, because it happened to me, is you want to raise your vibration. Because if you think about it, you know, you want to almost do them a favor. It's like if their vibrations are so high, and it could really take a toll on them to like come down here and meet you, you're going to want to help them out as much as possible. This is a two-way, you know, relationship. It's not just like because they're the higher beings, they need to help us because we don't know, you know, blah, blah, blah. No, we have responsibility as well, you know. So you want to raise your vibration, and there's many ways you guys can do that, you know, obviously. Changing your diet, eating, even though I need to do this more often recently. You know, eating more like plant-based stuff, a vegetarian type of diet, a lot of fruits, raise your vibration with your body like that. Meditation, third eye meditations, clearing yourself, like 2 times a week, do, you know, like chakra healing and balancing, and try to keep yourself as pure as possible, because when you meet these beings, you will feel it. You'll just feel all around you, the staticky, the vibration, the energy. That's why when I met them, I literally passed out, because I couldn't take it. It was too much. And I remember one of the times I tried to channel for the first time, and I ended up not doing it, but there was a Zeta, a gray that I saw in my third eye right next to me, and I felt his energy coming to me, and it was like with Yeshua, with Jesus. I just had this rushing, you know, like, I really don't know how to describe it. It's almost like, this is a really bad way because I can't really relate to it, but it's almost like an adrenaline rush, or like your energy field is on like ecstasy or coke or something. Like, it's just tuned up to the max, and you've never felt like this before, and you're kind of like, whoa, like something that I never experienced in this reality is happening. And it's also a thing where, yeah, you can see them in your third eye, and they're kind of like an etheric, you know, spirit, you know, like a blue-green energy, whatever form. But when you see them physically, you almost look like you're looking at something that just doesn't fit in this reality. You're looking at, I don't even know how to describe it. You're literally, you feel like this is unreal. And until you actually have that feeling, you can't really describe it. It's really amazing. But I mean, it is possible, and I think because there's a lot of people talking about it, there's a lot of stuff in the alternative media, like the internet, about physical and first contact and all that. Again, I don't see like the disclosure, them coming on the news. I don't see any of that coming soon. But what I do see is, and I literally, like, not just I think, like, I've had visions of it. I see that they're going to start making themselves more known here. Almost like they're going to base themselves here. They're going to introduce themselves to a lot of people. So by the time it comes for the, like, first big massive contact, I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal. Yeah, it's going to be a big deal, don't get me wrong, but there's going to be, like, thousands or maybe, like, a million other people who have already, like, had these contacts. Like, they're going to do it, and that's the thing with spirit, you know. So even though they're aliens, you got to remember spirituality. If you look at all of this stuff from a spiritual point, you unlock all the doors because everything is about the spiritual side. Aliens are extremely spiritual beings. You know, like I say, Arcturians are probably the most... Arcturians, and I guess Pleiadians to me, are like the most spiritual out of all of them. That's just what I get, you know, like with the Arcturians. That's why I resonate with them. With them, it's like if you don't acknowledge the God inside you, if you don't acknowledge the spiritual path, what's the point of, how are you going to get anywhere? You know, that's like their mentality that they've taught me. But basically, you know, I see this happening, and I see that a lot of people are going to have these contacts, and it's going to go very well. You know, there's nothing to worry about. But like I said, you know, this can't be a thing where it's like, oh, you guys are so higher up, I need to hold your hand like a babysitter, and you need to do this. It's like, no, we have responsibility. We are creator beings. We are all one, you know, same thing, just different forms, same essence, all on the inside. Nothing's really different except for how we look, which doesn't matter. And you got to put some work in, and if you do that, they will acknowledge it, you know, they really will. So past that, I guess I can go into, since I'm making a whole video about it, I can go into, you know, what happened that night. I'm not tired of talking about it, but this is probably my, like, 10th time talking about it, so I'll try to just, you know, get through it. But there are new people out there who haven't seen this, so I completely understand that. So one night about 4 or 5 months ago, and yeah, about 5 months ago. So basically, I was at a point where I was still in my, like, hermit phase. When you're in your hermit phase, I'm sure a lot of you guys are in it or you've been in it. It's when you awaken and you basically shut yourself off from society, and you just dive into all this stuff, you know. That's part of the reason why I boost myself and awaken, whatever you want to say. I basically woke myself up extremely fast, almost to the point where it took a toll on me. And that's why right now I'm trying to learn how to, like, don't get me wrong, I love life, I see the beauty in life, but I'm so dedicated to this work and always doing this, and I see how messed up, you know, our world is. It's almost like I don't do anything that's not spiritual, and I know I got to work on that because I have to like enjoy. I'm in the 3D for a reason. I kind of have to, you know. But anyways, I was in my point of the hermit phase, you know, shut everything else off. My whole life was spirituality, all or nothing. And like I said, every night for like a year, I was asking for them to come. And even though I would see them, I'd wake up on ships. I would see them in my third eye. I'd have visuals of them. They'd give me downloads. Even though that stuff happened, I'm talking like, you know, I wanted them to come in my room. Like, I wasn't afraid. Like, at night, I would just sit there sometimes with my eyes open and just be like, anytime, guys, anytime. And I know a lot of you guys have probably done that too. And so if you have, know you're on the right track. You definitely are. And then so I remember I was watching a wrestling pay-per-view or something. I think I was watching a pay-per-view. And I went to sleep, not really thinking anything. And also, one thing also that I want to add that will help for you guys is, at night when you ask for this contact, ask for the angels to come in, and ask for your guides, or even Gaia, because, you know, we're on Gaia, we're in Gaia's energy. Even ask Gaia too to help with this connection, because everything is working. Literally everything. I mean, obviously the negative entities are there, but everything's working in accordance to love. So love is everything. That's how we succeed. So of course they're gonna want to help you, because you know everything loves you. It's the truth. So they're gonna help you. So before you go to sleep, ask for the beings to come, whoever you are most closest to. I'm not just saying Arcturians. They're who I personally ask for because they're my strongest connection. They're my family. I literally feel like a heart to heart with them. You know, like I look at them and I see myself basically. Like I've said, I go in the mirror sometimes and I'll see an Arcturian like inside of me, which is really weird. Anyways, whoever you feel comfortable with, obviously, ask for them to come. But you never go wrong with the Arcturians. Like I've said, I know there's net good and bad for everything, but I've never ever heard of a negative Arcturian. I've never even heard of a story of a negative Arcturian, which is very interesting. But they are out there, don't get me wrong. So whoever you feel closest to, ask for them to come and ask for support by your guides and the angels, and they will. Because I found out that's what happened with me. I was going back and listening to the reading I had, and he was saying that basically the angels assisted in this communication, in this coming together. And even though he came to clear some karma and like heighten my abilities, because I was from that group, and also that's a cool thing. Whoever comes may be whoever like you had a connection with. So whatever they look like, you can almost tell yourself, I used to look just like that. Because for my example, because I can only talk about myself from this point, I was told that the guy who came, basically, he was from, I don't know, he or she, they were from a group that I used to be a part of. So I can say I actually look like them, and it's really cool. It's awesome. So let me get into the story, you know, what happened. So I went to sleep. I didn't think anything of it. You know, after almost a year of every night asking for them to come, you kind of lose that momentum. You're kind of like, sure, yeah, please come, thanks, all right, good night, because it's probably not going to happen. So I went to sleep. I woke up at, I remember it was 3:40 in the morning. It was 3:40. I woke up at 3:40 in the morning, and you know how sometimes you'll just wake up out of nowhere? Like nothing wakes you up, like an alarm or a sound or a pain, or you have to go to the bathroom. But you'll just be, you know, you'll just awaken out of nowhere, and you're kind of like, why did I just wake up right now, you know? So that happened, and I woke up, and I looked to my right side, and on my right side, and I know this is like really lame, but I really don't care right now. So, like, let's imagine I'm sleeping on my bed, okay? So imagine I'm, like, sleeping, and I'm, like, I don't know, let's just say I'm right here. I know this is really weird, but just follow me, okay? So let's say I'm, like, right here. Basically, what happened was I woke up, I looked over, and there's this dude who was probably, like, you know, like 3 or 4 feet tall, something like that. And literally, like, he had a huge head, a really big head, and the weird thing was he wasn't even, like, super skinny, you know? Like, he wasn't chubby or anything, but it was a lot different than I thought. And his arms were extremely long. And he had 3 fingers. Only 3 fingers, no thumb. And they were extremely long and extremely wide. Like, what I used before for a description was, imagine, like, a water bottle, like, on each one of these, like, super, super long. But anyways, I looked at him, and he, like, was walking like this. He was, like, waddling over to me, which was really weird. That really threw me off. So he was waddling over to me, and I remember my head, or not my head, sorry, my arm was resting off of my bed. It was, like, kind of hanging there. And then he waddled over to me, and it took my hand with his 3 fingers, and really quickly shook it really fast. So I realized that I woke up because, 1, you know, spirit wanted me to see this, and 2, he was there. The vibration was so incredibly strong. And one thing that makes this important, and I think this is really important for you guys too, is that when this happened, you know, I was in like a state of like, I wasn't scared at all. But it was a state of shock. It was almost, like I said, you're literally looking at something that you've never thought in this reality could happen, could manifest. It's like if you, I don't know, or saw an angel, you'd be like, what the hell? And a lot of people have seen angels and have died. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's negative. I shouldn't say that, but let's throw some humor in there. But you know, it's hard to take in, basically. And even though you see them in your third eye, it's not the same thing when they're like right in front of you. Anyways, so what's really important is I was kind of in a state of awe, and because his vibration was so strong, I mean, you know, I'm right here, and he's literally like, I'll go to this side. He's literally like this close to me, and I just feel this energy, these waves, almost like electricity, this staticky, you know, and I can't move because I feel like I'm like in a bubble of this extremely strong, crazy energy, and because of it, I couldn't move. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, this is what's important. Because I couldn't move and I didn't know what was going on, I had the most vulnerability I think I've ever had. I literally, gotta shape my mustache. I literally was like, okay, either this dude is gonna help me somehow, or he's here and he could kill me. I knew he wouldn't hurt me, but it was a thing where like my life is in your hands basically, because right now I can't move. I can only think. It was amazing. I wasn't scared, but I was like, okay, this is finally happening. What's next? What's gonna happen? So shook my hand really, really fast, got my attention, and like I said, if you guys have ever touched a dolphin, it feels like what a dolphin feels like. How the outside feels like it's coated with that weird protection, almost like an invisible plastic over the body. That's exactly what it felt like, like it was tough, and this is weird. I'm just saying it was so tough. Like I'm sure I know, he's a higher dimensional being, so I can't really relate to third dimensional stuff. But it's like, I guarantee you if you got poked with something, it wouldn't even penetrate the skin, like, at all. At all. And one really cool thing that will help with this, too. Give me 1 second. So, because he was an Arcturian, and Arcturians, are known to be blue, which he was, something really cool also happened when I saw him, and I saw him again after this too. Not physically, but I saw him, like, it was weird. I was at my dad's house in Wisconsin, and a lot of negativity was going on then, and there was a lot of negativity around my dad. And then so I asked for protection, and I saw him that night, so that was cool. But anyways, he literally had, this is the lapis lazuli, crystal. And he had these different, like, see the design, how it's not just blue? He kind of had something like that on his head, on his skin. It was almost like he had these vibrating energy, like, dots of, like, sand, like crystal, all beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So let's see. Anyways, so he shook my hand, and I'm kind of sitting there like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. And then I thought, okay, I'm either going to die or he's going to save my life, or maybe he'll take me to another planet, which is very stupid for me to think, because it's like I'm here for a reason to help humanity. Can't leave here. Anyways, so it's really weird. He took his like two of his fingers, and he kind of like cupped my head. And so you got to remember, I'm sitting there laying in my bed, like, like, what's happening? Like, this being comes up to me, and he cups my head, and I'm like, oh my God. So he cut my head, and then he took his other fingers, and he, like, put them on his head. And then it was really weird. Once he did that, I can tell he was going to do something to me. But I was kind of like, I don't care at this point. This is amazing. This is exactly what I've always dreamed of. So he did this, and then not with my ears, But inside my head, I heard this, and I still to this day can't describe it. And every time I hear it, I always am like, oh, is he around? Like, I hear it sometimes. But it's this, like, almost like just a piercing, loud, buzzing sound. But it's like telepathy where you don't hear it with your ears, but you hear it inside, you know? I can hear it inside. I literally heard, like, energy booming, beaming, drilling into my head. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Kind of like a drill, but not really. Like, because a drill has a loud, echoey sound, and it doesn't sound good. But it's kind of like that, but no echoey. It didn't hurt, nothing like that. But it's just like a beaming. Okay, this is the best way to describe it. Okay, I don't think I said this before. You know how in the emergency room they gotta like do the clear, and they gotta clear someone, they gotta jump their heart, and you hear that that sound. That's exactly what it sounded like. So he did that, and I lost consciousness because the vibration was just way too strong. I couldn't handle it. And then I fell asleep, obviously. And then I woke up like 5 hours later, 4 or 5 hours later, I think. I forgot what time, I don't know. And so I asked Ivan about it, and then so I've already talked about that. So he described to me why he was there, what he was doing, basically heightening my abilities, and I guess clearing some karma. I guess in a past life we had some small disagreements, and so I had the karma of that energy around me, because karma is like stuff from unfinished lives that you have over you, kind of, in some ways. So he removed that, and then he was heightening me. And then ever since that day, I remember the next morning, I went outside to have a cigarette and to get some coffee, and I went outside, and to this day I still see it. I just see all this like fourth dimensional energy. It's beautiful. Just moving all everywhere, it's like white, but then sometimes it's blue, like white and blue, and sometimes I'll see it inside, but it's mainly outside. I don't know why. So I see the energy, and then I'll just sometimes get like a glimpse of something right before it happens. Like I've said in the other videos, I'll be driving or something, or something like that, and I'll get an image of a certain car, like it could almost hit me, or it's driving recklessly. So I'll be safe, and then 5 minutes later, I'll see that car do exactly what I saw. So whatever he did was a good thing. And I've been asking ever since then for him to come back, and nothing's happened. So, but it doesn't mean it's the last time, and we're getting closer to contact, guys. So I mean, more stuff is gonna happen. And like Ivan and I right now, we're both really trying for this physical contact. Like I told him, I messaged him, I was like, dude, I'm taking this, like I'm going 100% in. Like I'm gonna make this a priority, and it's like I already had this before, so I want to have this again. And then one thing, and then I'll end the video. I don't think I told you guys about this. It's really weird. So my mom has been open to this stuff. Sometimes when I go to visit her, I'll show her like a video where I'll talk about spiritual stuff. And even though a lot of people don't believe in this stuff, she's pretty open to it. And I went to her house about a week or two ago, and she was like, I have something for you that I've never told you about. I was like, okay, like that's a little odd. All right. And then she came back, she went in her room, and she had this. All right. So check this out. This was from when I was 2 years old, okay? And obviously it's a candle, as you can see. It's a candle of an alien. Like a gray or an Arcturian, I mean, make him blue, and that's what the Arcturians, they do kind of look like. And it's funny, I'd never noticed he has 3 fingers. How funny is that? He's got 3 fingers. Anyways, she gave this to me. And I've been talking to her about this stuff for like a year or two now, like 2 years probably. And I've never known about this, all right? She was like, when you were 2 years old, And, you know, I'm in my like higher 20s now. It's been a while, and she was like, you know, so when you were 2 years old, I gave you a couple quarters to go. I guess when I was little, I used to go like to garage sales, and I really liked it. She was like, I gave you a couple quarters when you were little, and you went down the street to a garage sale, and you came back with this. So I guess I got this, and I came back, and I gave it to my mom, and I said, here, Mom, these are my friends. And she never thought anything about it. And then, like I told you guys in one of my videos, from when I was 2 till I was like 5 or 6, I recently found out I was abducted constantly. I know who it was now. It was the Zeta Reptilians and the Zeta Greys. So I was constantly abducted, and they would find me in the middle of the night. Like, and again, how is a 2 and a 3-year-old? You know, like, imagine the parents putting a 2 or 3-year-old to sleep in their bed at night, and then imagine at like 3 or 4 in the morning finding out your kid is like a block or 2 down the street in someone else's house, in random cars. You know, like, I would just wake up somewhere. Like, I'd go to sleep in my bed or my crib, whatever it was, and then I would wake up like half a mile away, and it makes no sense. So, you know, basically, I don't think my mom wanted to believe it, but after talking to her for about a year or 2, she's finally like, I accept this. So she gave that to me, and I had no idea for all these years, you know, for 20-something years. I had no idea. So that's really, really crazy. So just thought I would share that with you guys. So hope you like my video. Definitely try to make contact. It will happen. You manifest your reality. I know this may sound a little crazy, but if you go to sleep at night telling yourself, this is gonna happen, I'm going to make this happen, I am gonna have physical contact, it actually will create that even more. So you manifest your reality. You are the creator of your reality. Make it as loving and as peaceful as you can for yourself and everyone else. And always live in service to others, because that's what I'm really learning. It's all about service to others, man. Everything is service to others, you know, and then service to self. So the negativity is like the service to self, and that's where the negative beings, you know, it's service to everything. Really is either service to self or service to others. It's the truth of it. But that's a whole nother video. So thank you guys. Take care. I gotta write a 10 to 20 page paper today for a class, so that's gonna be fun. So have a good night, or good day. So namaste, blessings, and I love y'all.